What are the best soups and teas for a post-workout? This is an important one for me because exercising is actually my de-stressor. It's an integral part of my lifestyle. Thank you, Melody, for this great prompt. I really loved putting this together. There is not one size fits all when it comes to these types of recovery. In TCM, everything boils down to what's happening inside the body, not what's been done to it. Two people could be doing the same training, but their water absorption rate, their sweat rate, level of muscle usage, body heat levels, how their muscles are engaged, and so many other factors shape how their body ends up at the end of the workout. And that's where that recovery is actually quite unique to each of us. And this is what makes TCM so special, in that it's all unique to us, our own constitution, our own conditions, the external environment, and how we process it all together inside. To keep it simple, I've broken it down into 4 types of recovery, depending what's going on in the body. They are cardio or endurance activities, such as running, strength or resistance training, such as doing weights. And then there's explosive training, such as martial arts. And finally, a separate unique category that's specific to the environment, exposure to the cold. So it's not so much about the exercise itself, it's more about what that exercise does to our body. Remember, in TCM, it's about how things show up. What happens inside is directly reflected on something on the outside. For each, I will break down what this activity does to our body from a TCM perspective, what it consumes, which organ it uses, what to focus on as a part of recovery, plus some simple examples of soups or teas to help you recover. The first is cardio or endurance activities such as running, cycling, or dancing. This is where there's this constant output of energy that's pretty consistent over a period of time. These types of activity consume Qi, which is energy, and Yin, which is the fluids and that cooling capacity to prevent our bodies from overheating. So when we lose fluids, we're actually losing yin. Without this yin, our yang would go crazy and our bodies would become dry, dehydrated, or overheated. The organs that are the most impacted are the spleen, which is the primary source of qi, our lungs, and our heart. In this, you can think about tonifying our qi, which is replenishing our energy. American or Canadian ginseng is a great base ingredient. You can add it with goji berries to both nourish the yin and qi together, or add dried red dates as a gentle energy recovery. Next is to nourish the yin so that our body can replenish those lost fluids. The easiest and most basic is to first consume more water throughout the day. You can also make teas that have pears or dried snow pears, fresh ones work as well, dried snow fungus, or dried lily bulbs. Avoid really hard to digest meals while the spleen is in recovery. Remember, the spleen is what transforms and transport our food into usable energy. And so while the spleen's recovering, we don't want it to be doing too much work on something else. And also avoid overly warm or spicy foods because this will also deplete our yin and fluids. The next type of activity is strength or resistance training. This typically could be weightlifting or using resistance bands. In these types of sessions, your body consumes qi, which is also the energy, but also blood, which is what is used to power the muscles. And during these sessions, the muscles are torn as a result of trying to power through the resistance. Through this, we are using our liver, kidney, and spleen. The liver and kidney are the key support for strength and repairing our muscles, and the spleen is to transform food and water into qi and blood. In these situations, when there's more muscle usage, we want to be replenishing qi and blood. A gentle tonic of 2 to 3 pieces of dongguai or angelica root with 10 dried goji berries in about 2 cups of water to build blood and relieve soreness. A hearty soup of oxtail with black beans, red dates, goji berries, walnuts, and fresh ginger can also help strengthen bones and tendons, replenish blood, and support post-strength training recovery. You can also use beef shank or any type of protein in this soup as well. That's where that protein is also going to help rebuild our muscles. You'd want to avoid excessively cooling and damp foods and drinks, and nothing cold. The cold food is going to redirect the energy in your qi into warming the foods instead of actually recovering your body. And because the cold contracts and congeals, it will also slow down your blood circulation. The next type of activity is where there's explosive work, such as high intensity exercises with short bursts of maximum energy. This can include sprint sessions, martial arts, or HIIT sessions. In this, it's the yang and qi consumption that really supports this explosive, rapid contractions and intensity. As a result, there's a lot of liver yang and internal heat generated. And when the yang is activated like that, it's like an explosive fire and actually consumes our yin. This is when you can feel immediate warmth and even sweating just after a few minutes. The first thing we want to do is clear that heat that's been created from the intense yang activation. Ingredients like dried chrysanthemum flowers, dried honeysuckle, mung beans, or fresh watercress in soup are all great options. Some of these also replenish yin, so it's almost like a 2-for-1, which is perfect. Green tea with honey or lemon, served warm, is also a great tea to clear heat, clear toxins, and help with the inflammation in the body. In these conditions, you'd want to avoid having any heaty or warmer teas or soups just because they can continue to feed that internal fire further. The last is more conditional and has to do with the environment, especially for me. I tend to run or ride even in a little bit colder weather, but I mean, when I say cold, it's all relative. Like the most I can be outside is probably 10 degrees, nothing colder. But it's still cold for me. In these conditions, it's like an invitation for the pathogens or invaders to enter my body. I'll notice that I'll develop a runny nose really quickly, perhaps even a slight cough, and I'll always want to drink something warm. I'll also be sneezing and actually develop a slight headache when I'm in the cold too long. These are all classic signs of the wind and cold invading my body, especially at the superficial level. In these situations, I want to be able to expel those pathogens by releasing the exterior, or essentially sweating it out. Fresh ginger is my go-to ingredient for this. You can have it as simply as fresh ginger with a little bit of brown sugar or mixed with a few dried red dates or dried longans. You can also drop in a cinnamon stick, which is warmer than ginger, to help with blood circulation. In these conditions, you'd want to avoid cold foods and drinks and any cooling ingredients. This is like a shock to your spleen and stomach and can also extinguish that digestive fire and lock in with cold, which can lead to more ache and stiffness in the body. So what about things like yoga or more gentle activities such as Tai Chi or stretching? Great question. From a TCM perspective, they're perfect. These practices often help the Qi run smoother, calm the mind and Shen, our spirit, and help with circulation. Except maybe hot yoga because of the sweating that will deplenish our yin. However, anything with flow, intention, grounding, slowing down, regulating our breathing is going to help move and refine our qi. Soups with fresh Chinese yam and lotus seeds can help strengthen our spleen qi, or dried roses with goji berries can help move liver qi, lift our mood, and nourish blood. I've got a few pre-workout ones, especially ones that will help me pave the way to venture out into the cold. I know this is a really big topic and there's so many threads that you can cover, so stay tuned for more soups and tea ideas. For now, happy staying active and healthy, and I'll see you next time.